What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Unqualified Film Bros podcast. I said that to myself because I missed last week's episode. We're corny here. Tonight we are talking about The Flash, the second to last dying breath of the DCEU. I
Fruit.
yeah, Chip's here too.
Chips
And
in the house.
so I already heard from Ben and Max after we saw the movie the other night, but Declan, I want to start with you. What'd you think?
Um, so I will say that
Ben is preparing himself mentally. I saw
Sorry, I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm
Sure.
no, it's okay. What I will say is this had the potential to be an unmitigated disaster, like just complete unmitigated disaster. And I don't think it turned out to be that way. While it's not perfect, I did enjoy I did enjoy watching it for almost all of it. The opening was weird, but after that I was enjoying it. There's still more than enough flaws, but overall, I at least softly liked it as it stands, in my opinion. That's just me, though. And it helps that I'm a fan of the character of the Flash, so, there you go.
sure, but if you're a fan, I feel like you would realize that.
yeah, I also love the Flash, and that's partially why I hate the film.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just want to pause right there because you two gave it the exact same Letterboxd score.
Yeah, that's what I'm slightly surprised that you say that.
Declan, you've got a loved it 3.5. Ben, you've got a hated it 3.5.
How did you get a loved it 3.5? I mean, I guess 3.5. So my love for the film is that I think in the middle, when everything's rolling, when he's gone back in time and everyone's all the gadgets are rolling, they do a good job. But the main problem for the film is that the plot is a mess. The beginning, like Declan said, is odd. It seems like a cut, scene or sort of a idea from the Justice League. Like all the humor in it, the lasso of truth is literally a carbon copy of what they did in the Joss Whedon Justice League.
Mm.
And I hate that. I hate that gag. It's like the lasso of truth in the comics is never like people just start saying things. It's like a lie detector. The guy who wrote the comics was, him and his wife were the people that invented the lie detector. It was supposed to be like, you ask a question, and then they tell you the truth. They don't just start talking about like, I'm a virgin. I mean, that's a terrible, cringy joke.
What I'll say is in the film's like defense is that there's been many times when writers have slightly changed pre-existing continuity.
That's true.
Or
And
stuff.
it would be acceptable if it was a smart, humorous sort of addition, but it's just a terrible gag.
I mean, but expanding on that to the whole film, changing existing IP to fit a story is what Declan, stop doing that. Stop doing that. I don't like that.
What's he doing?
But this? Sorry.
I mean, this
all right, give me a break.
This film is obviously based on Flashpoint. And yet, Ben, you and I were talking about this the other night. It doesn't really do Flashpoint. It does something Flashpoint adjacent.
Flashpoint is probably one of the best comics, if not maybe the best comic that DC has ever done. It's a genius way to reset a comic universe. And yet they took all the characters, instead of doing justice to the comic inspiration, they just took it as a way to do cameos. Like, I mean, I love Michael Keaton, and that does bump the score up a little bit. but it doesn't bump it.
I would have given this a 3.5, but Keaton was just fantastic.
Yeah. I think, like, regardless of how much I love Michael Keaton as Batman and how much he does sort of work for the film, but not really. I mean, the whole idea is screwed over by having Michael Keaton as Batman. For people that don't know, in the comics, the Batman that helps him for most of the film is Thomas Wayne. And he is a Batman that has lost all hope. Like, he kills people. He does not believe in the city anymore. And you sort of have that in the beginning, but he's not really the same, like, he's given up. It's like, well, Gotham's safe, the crime is all the way down. It's not like a guy who's given up. It's a guy who's like, well, my job is no longer there. You don't have the dark aspects of Flashpoint that should be there. It's the whole point of it, is to show, yes, it's a tragedy that your mother died, but look at what happens if not. And yes, you have, like, I guess the world is going to end because Zod's going to terraform the planet or whatever, but that's a cheap way to do it versus taking the original comic inspiration, is taking all the characters from the Justice League, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and showing their darkest and most regressive selves. And you also really hurt the story by not introducing the main fucking villain of Flash, or any fucking villain of Flash. Reverse Flash is a great villain.
I wonder if in the original screenplay, if they were going to have him say that he was Reverse Flash, but then they were like, oh, we can't not have Reverse Flash be Eobard Thawne, and Thrawn. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so we just have to make him a guy, not like, this monster version of Flash, kind of.
But yeah, Eobard Thawne is a great villain, and you really can't do Flashpoint without introducing him in his own villain first, or in his own movie first, which is like, I find him fascinating. They try to do the same sort of thing, but it really just doesn't work with Barry Allen. The whole point is that he's a guy who's so determined to be a hero, and then he becomes a villain. Like, this complete dedication to a role and dedication to the idea of fate with a guy like Flash, who can change, go back in time and change things. He's corrupted by the idea that he wants to be a hero, but he goes back in time and realizes that he is supposed to be his greatest enemy. That idea of fate warps him. But in Barry Allen's case, it's something that is supposed to happen. If it doesn't happen, then all of reality basically falls apart.
Part of me is going cross-eyed right now. I just want to say, so it's really hard to keep track of all the timelines and fate. Still,
well, yeah. I mean, there's so much of that in the comics, but
yeah.
The main idea is, like, he has to be a separate person. You can make him the same person, but he's not the same idea. It's a complete antithesis to the Flash, and I really don't buy that a guy goes back in time for like 70 years or whatever, gets gray hair, just dying over and over. I mean, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Get it?
I mean, we saw that in Lightyear.
Yeah.
That is
one
true.
of my finest reviewed movies.
Notorious success, Lightyear.
But even that,
everyone loved its villain.
They sort of just act like he's been running back in time for like 50 years, like dying over and over again, or losing, I don't know, accumulating a bunch of scraps from whatever. I don't get it.
From Kryptonian, like, scuffles. I will say, a part of me didn't hate, like, sort of the like, oh, that's how he got so, like when like the blade comes into his arm, it's like, okay, like, that's not the best explanation for that, but it's like, it's all right.
Yeah. It's a pretty awful explanation. I don't know.
So
it's just unbelievable to view him as running back in time for 50 years. I mean, they don't explain whatever he's doing. I don't understand what he's doing.
What you're saying
Like,
is you want
that
more
character.
exposition.
Well, in this case, you're right, Declan.
So let's change gears a little bit.
Mm.
Let's talk about Ezra Miller.
I was saying
We're
this.
gonna have to, and I'm gonna turn to the guy to my right here to start us off.
Hey, wait.
You're to my left, Chip.
No, but like, wait a second. So,
Oh boy.
so was that guy the old, like the guy who was like the transformer in the little like time vortex thing? Was that guy supposed to be Reverse Flash, or was
No.
That was just
No.
Barry 50 years in the future.
Yeah.
so it's Reverse Flash?
No.
Oh,
No. Reverse Flash in the comics is a guy named
he's a different
Eobard
person.
Thawne.
Oh, so he's like the Retep from Family Guy, but Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember that Family Guy character. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, as we were saying.
As you were saying. Ezra Miller?
Ezra Miller. Yeah. I mean, look, there isn't really much to say. Like, this has been a firestorm for the past like 4 years, 5 years, where Ezra Miller can't seem to stay out of trouble
Yeah.
legally.
I don't want to fight you, Flash.
He's fighting himself. So, like,
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
and I
Thank you,
think,
Declan.
Ben, your point on Flashpoint being a really good way to reset a universe. They had a really great opportunity to do
They
that,
blew it.
and they blew it.
Yeah.
Completely.
They really didn't reset anything, did they?
No, and they could have.
Nothing.
They could have completely
George
opened
Clooney is Batman, I guess.
everything, and they didn't do it at all.
The only
Yeah.
fucking thing that they did was they replaced Ben Affleck with George Clooney.
Yeah. Which was actually,
not
I
gonna
am
last.
grateful. Most of the other surprise cameos were spoiled for me because of cynical people, which I'm slightly annoyed at, but that wasn't, and so I am slightly grateful that was a surprise. Like I did laugh at that occur at his appearance, and all that. But what I'll say just very quickly on Ezra Miller, I do think even without all their baggage, as I said in Letterboxd, and that's a lot of baggage, I feel like watching them carry a movie, I'm like, especially at the beginning, it's kind of a bit much. I
Can't carry a movie like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said carry a movie, I was like, they can't.
yeah.
All of them can't carry a movie.
They managed to grow on me by the end a little bit, but I don't think they were fantastic. Also, I'll say again, to quote my Letterboxd, there have been many movies that have done the like two-person playing opposite themselves in a scene. That idea has been done better in many other movies. Many of them have been being made in like 1970 or 1980. It's like
I want to piggyback on that for a second, which is the other Barry that we meet is probably one of the dumbest human beings
Oh
in
my
existence.
God, so dumb.
yeah.
And this is the guy who is supposed to be one of the smartest people in the DC universe.
Mhm.
Just because his mom lives, he becomes an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I mean, there's so many things in this movie that are like, that's just so contrived. That's a ridiculous idea.
And I get that his laugh is probably supposed to be a little annoying, but like you can't have it be
Well,
like
all of it's annoying. It's like, I'm annoyed the entire time he talks. That's not a good movie.
Yeah. I think what we get from having two Ezra Millers is basically what we'd get from having just one. And that's the fact that Ezra Miller, as has been said by multiple people tonight, cannot carry a movie. They're not a Hollywood lead, and they're not a superhero lead.
Fine actor, like on their own, but cannot carry a big film like this.
They
And
can
that's
carry a
why
movie.
Bring in
I will
Mike.
say.
Mhm.
They can carry a movie when they play a serial killer.
That's true.
Wait, have they played a serial killer?
Yeah, that's what it's famous for.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's
Oh,
the-
wait, is that like we need to talk about Kevin or
we
something?
need to
like
talk
that?
about Kevin. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I will also say I did like Sasha. I'm blanking on her
Baron
last
Cohen?
name.
Kaye.
Kaye.
Kaye, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Anyway, I did like, along with Michael Keaton as Batman, I did also like.
Yeah, I liked her. She was only in
appearance, yeah.
for like
And
10
the-
minutes, but I liked her.
Explanation for why she was in the movie.
Mhm.
I thought she was just going to be shoehorned in, but the fact that they like were going to look for Superman and they found her instead, that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Thought
Yeah.
that was logical. I thought it made sense for the story. And she ended up being, other than the fact that her like change of heart happened way too quickly and way too easily about like why Earth needed to be saved or whatever, she was a bright spot in the second and third act.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say so. To compare with the comics, in the comics, it's essentially the same thing, except they do find Superman. But because Superman is like younger than Kara, he is a little infinite when they find him and jail him.
Mm.
So he has no like comprehension of like human interactions. All he knows is that. So when they do treat him nicely, he is really like hard pressed to defend them because
Mm.
the first person that's ever like treated them nice.
Ah.
So it works a lot better in the comics, but it works well enough in the
Mhm.
film.
Yeah.
And
I do think
And
the
I get
presence of
wanting a
Keaton
different like look.
and Sasha like help make the entire movie a lot better. Like I if they weren't, even though I understand if someone feels like Michael Keaton is shoehorned, I don't know if I agree with that, but I at least understand it. I do feel that their presence helps make The Flash an enjoyable film.
He is a good
When Keaton's kicking ass, it's awesome. That's if it were just that for the entire movie, it would have been 5-star movie. Let's get nuts. Great moment. Thank you, Chip.
I actually didn't like that. I thought that was
Shut up, Ben.
No, that was
Shut up.
Ben hit.
Because that was arguably one of the weirdest moments of Batman '89 when he
It really
But
was.
I mean, to be honest, I don't like it in the original film either. So I like the original film. It's just a weird.
Batman '89 is a weird movie.
Batman Returns is so much better. But anyway, the inclusion of Michael Keaton, and this is something that I wanted to talk about today. It's a legacy sequel, which, we got that with Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick last year, and we're getting it again this year for Dead Reckoning. Even though that series has been going on for 25 years. But we're seeing it later this summer with Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, which we're going to talk about in a couple weeks. Legacy sequels are an untapped gold mine for Hollywood because there are so many iconic roles from the 80s and 90s.
7 of them.
I would
Yeah,
counter
but I don't
that
want.
it's
I
a
don't want
tapped-
that mine goal. Like
it is a gold
I don't
mine,
want that
but
mine, okay.
it is tapped.
They need to do more of them.
Oh no, my God!
I know. Honestly, that gold mine is mine, guys. It's out of commission. Let's not do that. I'm gonna be the first to be against.
All right, so you're telling me that you don't want to see Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction 2? That was a bad example.
No, I really don't. I really don't.
That was an on-purpose bad example.
I mean, my main
Absolutely was.
I actually like to see a legacy.
other than Tom Cruise, who is in abnormally good shape for his age. I don't want to see 80-year-old men be action stars, and it's just unnatural. Okay, you got to get like stunt people 30 years younger than them. They're putting in a bunch of CGI. It's not okay.
I now think we need to get like an 80-year-old like war veteran to like box Ben.
Robert De Niro, isn't he 80?
Let's get a grudge match sequel with Stallone and De Niro just tag teaming Ben.
Yeah, Robert De Niro,
Hell
Raging
yeah.
Bull 2.
Both of those men are elderly.
Yeah, that'd probably beat the fuck out of me, I'll be honest.
Mm.
I'm afraid of Robert De Niro.
No, he wouldn't.
You know, it was 8 kids. He popped one out like 2 months.
Yeah,
Wait, those are
He did? No, he did not.
kill Robert De Niro with his against. All he has to do is push him down a flight of stairs.
Dear God, Weathers.
All he has to do is push me down a flight of stairs.
We've devolved.
No, yeah, but
Let's see
like,
the Flash.
Not
yeah,
Legacy. I like Legacy sequels. I want to see a couple more, and then I'll probably be done.
if they're
Mhm.
good.
All right,
fine.
fair enough, George. I'm okay with a few, just like
Ben, like there. I mean,
no,
there's
mine a few and then stuff.
Ben will be first in line for the Legacy Highlander sequel.
Oh, yes.
I'm kidding.
I would.
Matrix was
Things like
another.
that I'm okay with though, Declan, because the movie's bad. Like the
Yeah.
first one's bad. It
Matrix
can't
Resurrection.
Yes, a great movie that everyone liked.
That's a good. Holy shit! There are actually a lot of these. Anyway,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just realizing that in real time here. So
There are a lot.
George Grothier realizes major Hollywood trend, right?
George, they discovered legacy sequels in like the 1980s.
Mm.
I don't know if you know that, but
Wait, actually, can I bring something up? Speaking of Legacy sequels, and like, but actually bringing it back to the movie.
all right.
There's been a lot of criticism about the like the CGI inclusion of a lot of of previous iterations of
Like Nicolas Cage?
characters. What? Yeah, like DH, Nick Cage. Yeah, exactly.
it's Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. And the actors who played Supergirl in the 80s Supergirl movie. Here's my stance. I honestly thought it was okay. Not to say it's gotten a lot of flack.
Wait, the CGI or the inclusion? Because I'm okay with the inclusion.
The
The CGI was dog shit.
Yeah,
No. The CGI looked kind
it's
of
a little
weird.
derived, but like it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it was like I think it was a bit of stylization, a bit of it just looking kind of weird. But anyway, but it's gotten flack of they're using like meat puppets or something like that on social media. I thought it was okay.
What the hell is a
might
meat
be
puppet?
because what?
What did you say?
What is a meat puppet? I know the Meat Puppets, the band that Kurt Cobain loved, but
The idea that it's using a dead corpse or something like that as a meat.
well,
as
that's
a
pretty macabre, man.
Yeah, I know exactly. I disagree with that stance.
Oh, you mean? But none of them are dead. Christopher Reeve is not dead, guys.
He is dead.
okay.
He's
dead.
been dead
Yes,
for a
no,
long.
He's not.
He's long dead.
He's been dead
He's
He's
for.
alive. Didn't you guys see the Flash?
Oh my god.
Kick him off the pod. Get him off. Get him away.
I'm sorry,
So-
I have to.
Oh,
And anyway,
I don't view it as that. I view when you're including those guys, I view it as just respect.
yeah, exactly. I would say that here's my thing. This is partially ruined by the fact that I've seen Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters Afterlife was a fun movie, and I will die on that hill.
I wholeheartedly
I
agree with that. Except I do feel the ending that felt actually
Did they bring Harold Ramis back?
Yeah, I
CGI.
feel like that kind of felt a bit in bad taste. Well, not bad taste.
Yeah,
that
this is
felt a
something
bit
they've done with Star Wars, right? Like with
Reitman directed it.
No, what I'll say is having him appear is it was oh, that's okay. Having him interact with the still living actors felt just a bit weird.
I agree. I mean, yeah, this is.
I feel like it went too far. That's what I would put it as, and I
pulling
don't
back.
think the Flash went too far.
Yeah,
that's all.
back, I think we can agree that it was a fine inclusion to want to do that, though the execution was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main problem is the entire ending sequence in I don't know, speed. What do they call it? Chrono bubble.
It must be the Speed Force. So time bubble. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I know it's a speed, but they call it the chrono bubble, right?
No,
that sounds right. That sounds right. Now that you say that,
It was some synonym for arena.
That's what but that's what the Elder Flash. I don't know what the hell to call him. Dark Flash.
Dark Flash. We'll go with Dark Flash.
He pushed him out and he's like, yeah, that's why I kicked you out of the chrono bubble because I needed to be creative. So I think that's what they're going with. But anyway, the CGI in that entire thing I thought was really bad. And probably because you're literally creating an entire scene with CGI, other than the people inside of it. I mean, that can't be a.
I will
you're
say
doing an entire scene of
It's never
CGI
been
while
over its
recreating people
CGI.
in
Yeah.
CGI.
They gotta stop doing all this slow-mo shit when Ezra
But
Miller runs
the
too.
Flash
Yeah.
is the one character you can use slow motion
Yeah,
for.
okay, but they
I think the slow-mo is
explain that
fine.
how they can make Makari
I
look like they can make it look something similar to that and
That's
still make
true.
it look cool.
Mhm.
They put them in, they have them run fast and just do it in slow-mo.
Look,
And
the best one that they've ever done for slow-mo, like, for a character like the Flash, is in is it X-Men Days of Future Past?
oh
Or-
yeah, with Quicksilver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it in Days of Future Past and Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
But
Apocalypse.
the scene where he's going around like touching stuff. I mean, that's great. That's what you should use the character for.
yes.
Mhm.
But it looks really good in that shot. And most of the Flash when he's doing that, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
Which is
The hospital in the first act. Just
Yeah.
terrible with all
Oh gosh,
the,
yeah, that
all
was
the,
so.
dead-eyed babies like the polar.
Ah, gosh, I feel like it's like it was such. I mean, maybe it's like I wonder if that was like when the film was stuck in development hell, if that was like one of the most stuck in development hell scenes.
Everything seems like it was stuck in development hell. I mean, the first part of the film seems like it was written by someone else other than the middle part, and then the ending is
Not
It's
written by James Gunn. I
it's
have
a
no
film that's exactly its Letterboxd curve. The first act, there are very few like absolutely terrible reviews of this film. First act is not good. Then we get the second act, which is great. That's where most of the reviews are. And then there are very few high reviews of the film. So the third act is bad. And the third act, what was the point? Why did we sit through 2.5 hours of this movie if it's just gonna be he's not exactly in his universe because he did change the past, and now we've got George Clooney and Aquaman.
I will say one of the key things from Flashpoint.
What is Aquaman? Is the Aquaman that we're gonna get in the Lost Kingdom the Aquaman?
I have no idea. I don't think anyone knows.
Here or the
I
one
think
seen in
you saw the post credit scene, right?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. I feel like I guess you know what I'll give credit for? I think the post credit scene is supposed to be, oh, this Aquaman's the same Aquaman? But I don't know.
I don't know. And
it
I
doesn't.
frankly don't care at this point.
I want to get through the Lost Kingdom and then go on to whatever James Gunn has planned.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say one of the big things that they're missing from Flashpoint. Well, I guess they're missing a lot, but one of the best moments in it is because it's Thomas Wayne that is the Batman in the alternate universe. Goes back in time, and when he's running back, Thomas Wayne gives him a note. He has gone back in time, to stop his mom from dying, and he's gotten to see her and sort of say goodbye to her, even though he has to let her die. And then he goes back into the future when he's reset everything correctly, and he gives the note that Thomas Wayne gave him to Bruce Wayne. And Batman cries. I mean, it's such a great moment because you never see him have any emotion, but it's like a point of, it's a very poignant moment because they both sort of get closure, though they can't save their parents. They love them, and they know that this is the way that it has to be, that it made them who they are.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like such a cheap cop-out to end that instead with, who the fuck are you? It's like, it's a nice, quip or whatever, but it's
a button. It's not a plot point. And I think, maybe that was changed in post because they were not going forward in this universe.
It was changed. I'm going to tell you right now, it was changed because they wanted to put, a cameo in, like Michael Keaton, use some nostalgia to fuel their franchise. But ultimately, it does hurt them. You could have had Michael Keaton play Thomas Wayne for all I care. But you have to have it be a darker version of Batman, and you have to have it be Thomas Wayne. It completes the circuit for this whole story.
There's a lot of things you had to do to get Flashpoint right. They did almost none of it. And
Yeah.
that's the movie we get.
Mm. Oh.
And the DCEU will be dying in the next 6 months. Matt Reeves has another Batman movie coming out.
God, that's gonna be
God
so.
bless.
Why is anybody wasting their time? Why is anybody wasting their time with Marvel or DC when we have all this Matt Reeves stuff, which is sick? Like, the Batman is the best superhero movie in years since like Infinity War. So like, like anybody who's watching Marvel and whatever this nonsense is, watching that is insane.
Hey man, Deadpool 3 could be good.
Yeah, I hope Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3 is going to be amusing and replete with cameos, but it's not going to be good.
We'll see.
I hate criticizing Ryan Reynolds because he's like the best actor in the world, but like
He's possible to do a lot of really good things with it, so I'll wait and see. But
Yeah,
I think
we got to see it. And like I think as one of you said on Twitter, Ryan Reynolds can much better carry a movie than Ezra Miller can.
well, yeah. Well, I said that on Twitter because I'm like, yeah, Ezra Miller is like a lunatic and nobody likes him, and Ryan Reynolds is one of the most likable people alive. So like,
there was a fascinating quote from an interview with like Sasha as Supergirl, like the actress plays Supergirl, where someone asked her, it's like, oh, so what was it like working with Ezra Miller? And she straight up replied, it's like, oh man, working every day with my stunt team was just like an honor. Like my stunt team was like just phenomenal, and I love them fully. I would not be here without my stunt team. Like she completely dodged.
Even watching like
Ezra Miller sucks, guys.
Everybody was seeing it, but like, why is anybody still watching like the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's like they don't even have a villain.
Because Chip, some of us really like the comics. And
they're not the comics.
Yeah, but what if I want to see some of my favorite characters on the big screen? Okay.
It's like you keep going into these movies. You're like, oh, I'm seeing these movies because I like the comics, and then you leave all sad that they're not the comics. Like
I don't leave.
I know they suck.
George, if you don't take the camera back, I'm gonna force this into being a surprise Damon time reunion.
None of these movies have been good since like even Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't actually that good.
Right, relax over there, okay? I mean, it has its issues, but like, let's relax. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was like good.
It's a movie, but it's not anywhere near as good as like Spider-Man 2 or Infinity War or
No, I wouldn't include Infinity War. I view that as just as problematic as any of later Marvel stuff, which is it requires a lot of viewing to get it.
That movie is fucking.
I mean, Spider-Man 2, I guess that's fine if you want to have that take.
Okay, but like, and the Batman, which is
just
awesome.
pulling it back here. I was going to compliment you, or your take, which is the Batman is great and Batman is great. Nolan Batman works, and most of the Batmans that we like work like Tim Burton's Batman because they focus on Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
When you take Batman and include him in something else, like they didn't do one Batman film in the DCEU. They did Batman versus Superman, which is him raging against Superman. That is a good comic, the thing that they based it on, but that's on the line. Batman's like 50 years old or whatever in that comic.
Having just watched The Lighthouse the other day, I feel like I very much need to rewatch The Batman again, just because
Why are those movies similar?
Because they both star Robert Pattinson in them, and
you're right. Yeah, I forgot he's
yeah. He's a great actor.
They're both depressing.
But like, that's like saying, oh, I watched The Lighthouse, so then I need to watch Spider-Man. Like,
I see your point, but I don't think
now I need to watch Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like a more valid point, but we agree the Batman is good. So
yeah, but yeah, just to like follow up, I think Batman functions really well because
anyway, so the Batman is good
There's doubt.
The Batman is good in a way that embarrasses the rest of the superhero genre so much at this point. Like you compare
including
it,
the Flash.
yeah, it's the
Relax.
best movie I've ever seen.
Which one?
The Flash.
Oh yeah.
And it sucks. And I imagine Aquaman sucks, and Man of Steel probably sucks.
Man
And-
of Steel's fine.
And
Oh,
Batman,
Man of
versus
Steel's pretty
Superman,
good.
and Batman versus
Except for Kevin Costner's
probably
death scene.
so
That's a
freaking bad.
stupid death
And, like,
scene.
Pretty bad.
Batman v Superman is actually Declan's favorite movie of all time.
Yeah,
I think
probably fucking horrible. And like,
it's pretty bad.
and I mean, everything that's come out almost everything that's come out after Endgame is fucking horrible. Certainly everything since like,
Since No Way Home.
yeah, since No Way Home has been, except for Doctor Strange 2, which is actually pretty good.
Hmm.
Because Sam Raimi did it. And they
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I love that one. I love Sam Raimi.
But like, but I
Well,
mean, like Quantumania was supposed to like set up the next. Like that was supposed to be the sort of bellwether for the health of the next arc,
All right.
and it was so
Let's
bad.
put it bad.
That-
It is the Flash episode.
Oh yeah, no.
I honestly directly blame
You're
George.
wasting your time watching superhero movies at this point that are not the Batman.
Yeah.
You guys know what you should watch? The DC animated universe.
Hell
It is
yeah,
the best
baby.
DC stuff there is.
DC animated is
Go
like,
watch the Flashpoint version that they did for that. It's much
Mm.
better.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
Also
three
watch
seasons.
the Justice League cartoon, which is like the predecessor for the DC animated films.
Oh,
yeah.
But definitely watch the Apocalypse War. That's
Oh wait, but I will say the Kraven the Hunter trailer kind of looks sick.
yeah, because you like Morbius.
So you're gonna love it.
Yeah, no, I just want to watch Aaron Taylor Johnson run around shooting people with crossbows for like 3 hours. That's like I don't want it to be good. I want it to be awesome.
Well,
I think we should
That's exactly what Michael Bay says every time he makes a movie.
Yeah, well,
get back on track.
It's not that crazy.
so this episode was about the Flash.
But then,
Special
but then,
thanks for
but
to-
then you lost control, much like Dark Flash lost control after trying to change things.
Don't try to make a metaphor. Don't try to make a lesson. That's what we're doing here.
Okay,
You're reaching here, all right?
We need to go back in time and
All right. Declan's gonna enter the Speed Force and try to make sense of this episode.
just watch the Batman again.
That's true.
So where I would usually say the Flash is playing in movie theaters right now, Chip is saying just watch the Batman again. So Max is the one to watch. That's where the Batman is streaming. Go watch it. We will be back next week to talk about Asteroid City.
Oh my gosh.
Get excited. We're going to Wes Andersonville.
Woo!
That's not a
Big
It's
day.
on TikTok. Don't send Wes Anderson any more of your TikToks.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to see them.
God bless him for saying that, I must say.
I hate
All right.
TikTok.
We will see you for some Wes Anderson talk next week. Let us know your thoughts on The Flash. If you see it, it's certainly a movie that we've reviewed on this podcast.
Mhm.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.